it's Omicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Dun 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 dun.
Keep going.
That's about it.
Oh, okay.
It was the end of the dun dun dun, which I think is from Space Odyssey, 2001.
Sure.
Space Odyssey. I like how you don't contradict me or agree. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Whatever, this is too complicated. Regardless, somebody will know. Somebody will let us know on the Discord or whatever. Yep, that's what the mood is today.
Okay.
So how are things in Australia?
Wet. Very wet.
Wet. I have seen some videos of water flowing in your country.
Mm-hmm. It rained for like 3 days straight.
Yeah, one video was like, oh my gosh, look at all this rain flowing into a super dry creek bed because of all of the drought and stuff, and it's getting fixed, you guys, because of rain. And then another photo, there was an awesome photo where it was a sign basically saying, what is your bushfire plan? But it's underwater. There's so much flooding going on.
Yes.
It was great. So Reddit's all about the extreme weather in Australia recently. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
so, you getting flooded at all?
I mean, my front and backyard turned into like a swamp for 3 days, right?
Gross.
Just like a big puddle that just sat there.
How did your cat do with this? Cats do with this.
Cat. We don't know. She showed up afterwards. She seems fine.
She's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
Thought there were cats. Isn't there more than one?
There was more than one. Now there is one.
Where'd the other one go?
It died.
Aw. How'd that happen?
Ate by the dogs.
Got eaten by the dogs?
Yeah.
Like domesticated dogs or wild dogs?
The domesticated ones. The sled dogs that we had living here.
Holy smokes. That's sad.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up.
How? Well, I mean, the people want to know. They want to know what's going on with your animals.
I suppose. Yeah.
I get requests for that every week. Make Somicron talk about his animals, they say, even if it makes them sad.
I mean, we've
I was like,
literally never
why would
had
you
that
say
request.
that? That's weird.
Literally never had that request.
So, okay, new question. How are you keeping your current cat safe?
Well, the dogs don't live here anymore.
Okay, that's enough. That's a good plan. All right, so dogs don't exist. Probably won't be eaten by dogs anymore. Fantastic. Excellent outcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
For sure.
How's little Cinnamon?
She's fine. She's doing great.
She's enjoying
so
the cold.
funny. Yeah, when I get home, I let her out for about an hour, and she hangs out and does whatever she does. About half the time, she'll come when I call her because the sun's going down and it's getting colder, and I'm like, all right, it's time to come in. I don't want you to die.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that one time I left her outside not accidentally, but she just didn't come at all, and she was outside all night, and then she was fine, so I don't know, whatever. The point is, about half the time she comes when I call her, and half the time she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because when she doesn't, she'll wait until I give up, and then like a minute later she'll come in.
She wants the illusion of making the choice herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
She did this with me and the boys. Like, we were trying to call her in yesterday because it was getting dark and getting cold. So we all went out there and we're calling for her and calling for her. Can't find her anywhere. And I mean, it's winter, so all the vegetation is down. It's not like she can hide in any trees or bushes or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
No idea where she is. I'm like, whatever. So we just leave the door open a crack a little bit. And then, yeah, like a minute later, she's inside the house.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Cold, but fine. Yeah, she's funny. She's a funny kitty. Yeah, so she's doing great. My little brother's cat is doing great. He started coming out of my brother's bedroom. So it's been baby steps. When they first got him, he wouldn't come out from under the bed. not even to eat for a couple days. And then he wouldn't come out of my brother's room. And now he'll come out of the brother's room, but if there's company, he goes back in the room, which makes sense, I guess. Back to where
Right.
it's safe.
Back to where it's safe and known.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So he's a good kitty too. Just a lot of good cats around.
It's true. It's true fact.
Tis. So I just saw the news that the Birds of Prey movie, number 1, did not do well in the box office the first week.
What? But I've been hearing such good things about it.
Well, yes, there was some decently good buzz about it, but apparently those were all lies, as Omicron knew they were right at advance. He's very smart that way.
As I foretold with my
Yes.
superior intellect. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Much superior. So now they're changing the name of the movie?
Really?
Yes.
To what?
So originally the title before it got released was Birds of Prey, and then in parentheses, and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Right.
And then they were like, that's stupid. It's just Birds of Prey. But now they changed it to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey because, nobody knew Harley Quinn was in it
Wait, is
until
Harley Quinn in
very
this?
second. Yeah, I know, right? It's not like she's the forefront of every single trailer and ad they've had for it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Why would they change the title of the movie? Like,
They're just trying to get people to watch it. And they're like, people are dumb. They don't know this is a Harley movie. They like Harley. Why aren't they watching this? Clearly it's because they don't know. That's what the discussion was.
Bad.
Or it could be bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wanted to like it. I like Harley Quinn as a character. She's fun.
Sure.
It's not happening. I did see an interesting point on Twitter the other day, though. And the point was this. It's important for female-led, all-female ensemble movies to be made. And mediocre ones. It's important for the mediocre ones to be made. Not just great ones.
Of course.
And I was like, that's entirely fair. I'm on board with this. So
Like,
there you go.
you
We got
can't-
representation. Doesn't have to be good, but it still counts.
Right. It took many years of shit superhero movies before we finally got Iron Man.
Fair. Yeah. But I mean, Wonder Woman was fine.
Yeah, but if fine is the best thing you can say about it, it's not a good movie.
That's true. I know a lot of people who really love it, though. But,
Okay.
yeah, right.
What-
the general public at large does not consider it an incredibly great movie. I agree.
No, I watched it regretting that I watched it.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Really? Like, even compared to an average MCU movie? I mean, Iron Man 2 is not that good.
Iron Man's okay. Iron Man 2 is not that good, but it has still the perfect combination of a high level of technology. It's like he has a suit that comes out of a suitcase, right? That gives him
Yes.
the strength to push away cars with his hands. There's still a level of rule of cool, right? You just can't buy me with lasso that tells the truth,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
right?
But I mean, they can't not have it. It's
yeah.
part of her character. It's been that way for years and decades.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
I knew that going into it as well.
Okay. All
Right. I don't
Yeah.
I don't like it less because it was a female superhero. I like it less because I think the character is boring. And
Yeah.
an uninteresting concept.
Yeah, it's fair. Okay, so what you're saying is we're in the development stage,
Yeah.
and eventually we'll get a ridiculously stupid good superhero movie with a female ensemble, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Yep.
good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, superhero movies have already had really good female characters, right? Like Nebula and Gamora are two really, really compelling characters in the MCU. I like them a lot.
I'll give them compelling. What makes them really, really compelling?
Okay, so it's a lot of their relationships, and especially the relationship with their dad, right?
Yeah,
Thanos,
yeah.
right. And then, you can just compare that with Tony Stark and his daughter and his son, quote unquote, Peter Parker, who he's adopted. And
Oh, I was
right.
thinking the kid from Iron Man 3, but yeah, Peter
Yeah,
works too.
I mean, he has more screen time with Peter.
Ooh, does he?
Yes, the kid's in like 2 scenes.
In Iron Man 3?
Yeah,
I thought he hangs out with him for a while because he's all
he
beat up
does.
and stuff.
He does. It's like 15 minutes of the movie, right? But
I'm actually curious now to know whether Tony Stark has more time on screen with kid from Iron Man 3 or Peter Parker directly on screen together.
dude, there was all that time in the ship on the way to Thanos' planet in Infinity War, and then on the planet.
Oh, that's true. There's a lot of that in Infinity War. Good point.
Yeah,
And then he gets snapped, and then there's nothing. But
right,
then there's 4 seconds in Endgame.
right.
I still want to do this. I still want to figure out who has more time. Anyway,
It's gotta
your
be Peter
point.
Parker.
Sorry, you were making a point about Tony and his kids. Sorry.
Right. It's like Tony, trained his kids. Well, maybe not the little one, the girl. I can't remember her name yet.
Me neither. Pumpkin.
No. He named it after like his uncle.
Morgan.
Morgan. Yes.
Thanks, Google.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I was getting that.
Yeah.
But it's like Tony has these people who are younger than him who he raises as fighters, right? Like not Tony, like Peter, right? But he's also involved in the Avengers, and he picks up Wanda. Like, there's not a great relationship there, but it's still there, and he does do his best to protect her. Where compare that to Thanos, where he's intentionally like mutilating Nebula to push her, right?
Yeah. No, he actively pits his daughters against each other to make them stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's just comparisons there that make those two characters interesting, and to see how they both, like, Scarlet Witch and Nebula both kind of end up at the same place, but for different reasons, and why that works. I think there's at least something there, right?
It's complicated. Like, we don't know where Gamora is right now.
Right now, yeah.
Because she's dead, and all we have is alternate universe Gamora, which
Right.
kind of complicates things. But
Right. I'm not really like looking to the future with these. I'm like,
Okay.
what we've already got. It helps that Nebula and Gamora also have had 2 essentially standalone movies, apart from like the bigger universe, right? Like the 2 Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a lot of focus on them for parts of it.
yeah, especially Gamora, right?
Yeah, right. And it's like we've had 1 Wonder Woman movie and like a very bad Justice League movie. There's
Right.
just not been enough to explore that if there is something there to be explored.
What's the crap? What's the movie with Jared Leto's Joker?
Suicide Squad?
Yeah, Suicide Squad. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that one too.
Is Wonder Woman in that?
No, but Harley's in it. I think
Oh.
she counts, right?
Sure, yeah.
Just as a leading female in the
Right.
DCU.
Yeah, also
Right.
not a good movie.
No, gosh, no. Ugh.
if
I mean,
there's
yeah. I mean, we might talk about the Oscars in a second here, but Joaquin Phoenix winning for portraying the Joker, winning an Oscar for that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it just kind of solidifies the whole. There have been a lot of great Joker portrayals over the years, but Leto's Joker is so far below every other one of those by every metric. It's sad. Nobody remembers it fondly. He didn't win any awards for it. It's not considered iconic. Like, it just sucks. It is such a terrible interpretation of the character. And everyone's done their own thing with it, right? It's not like he did it wrong
Right, no.
in the sense that there's one way to do it.
No.
But he did it wrong in that the way he chose to do it was wrong.
I don't know if he like strictly chose like the problems that I have with it are all that it's like the Joker pushed to 11, right? It's like tattoos everywhere. He's laying in like a field of knives and guns, and there's 2 baby clothes that people have to try and like pick out. I don't think that's the actor's choice. Like, the problems that I have with that Joker is not Leto's decisions for the most part, as far as I'm aware. He might be the creative director on the movies. I have no clue, but.
Well, I mean, the what's the tattoo on the forehead?
Damaged.
The damaged tattoo on the forehead just really says it all of what we're going for with this character.
Right. And
I don't know.
Don't think
Well,
that was
because-
his decision.
Well,
So,
but
like-
for the other ones, like, we consider Jack Nicholson's Joker to be part Jack Nicholson, and Heath Ledger really worked on his version of the Joker, and seems like Joaquin brought a lot of his own stuff to the Joker. Like, everybody else did. It'd be weird if Leto didn't.
Right.
Right?
It would be weird if he didn't, but I'm just saying what was his, what wasn't.
Yeah.
Right? And didn't
But-
Jack Nicholson bring his mustache? Like, he refused to
he
shave
wore-
it.
Yeah.
How is Jared Leto somehow still worse than a guy who refused to shave facial hair for a character who has face paint?
Because his Joker is great.
I don't think
That's
so.
the main reason.
Maybe when was the last time you saw that Joker? It's not brilliant.
I think I watched a YouTube video of some clips of that a couple of years ago.
It's not great.
It's considered great, man. Look, for the time, it's the 80s, right? We're comparing it to the time that it's in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great.
If we look at the 80s without context of modern films, then sure, it was great.
Yeah, and even like Cesar Romero did Joker in the 1960s live-action Batman show.
Maybe it's Cesar Romero that I'm thinking of.
Oh, no, you're right. Cesar Romero's Joker.
He's the one with the mustache.
You're right. He's the one with the mustache. Jack Nicholson, we apologize. Saul McCarn was wrong.
Yes. Jack Nicholson's is okay. Right. I'll give him that.
Okay.
But still, the was great argument, I don't feel like it holds up. Because the was is past tense. No longer.
No, I get it. And I'm just saying, when people talk about iconic Joker roles, no one's ever going to mention Leto's Joker, and everything else gets mentioned. Everything else.
I don't think everything else gets mentioned. I don't think so. I think if you say, like, great Joker roles, you get Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, and I've not seen Walking Phoenix, but I'm sure he's on there.
Yeah. I mean, it's... I've talked about this. I don't really feel like it's the Joker.
Okay.
Like, the Joaquin Phoenix character we get in the show never reaches the point where I feel like it's the Joker. Sure, it might be some kind of an origin story, but at the end of the film, he's not Joker in any way at all. He's just nuts. He doesn't have any leadership skills or qualities. He doesn't have any plans. And I know the Joker says he doesn't have any plans, but he has plans. And again, maybe a super prequel where at the end of the movie, he's not Joker yet, but then 10 years later, he's kind of developed into who the Joker is.
Right.
So that's what's interesting about Walken's Joker, I think. But that said, he won an Oscar, and he won an Oscar for the performance, and I just don't see anybody discounting his performance as Joker when it won a major award.
Okay.
I mean, even in an environment where there was a lot of backlash to the movie, a lot of people were talking about how it
What award
creates
did it
a
win?
Oscar for leading actor.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it's the big deal for 2019. He was considered the best male performance of any movie in all of the world, basically, is what they said.
Okay.
So, I don't know. People disagreed, but the fact that he did it means he has enough respect to where it was good. And even, Batman fans in general, people online. I've never seen anybody complain about it.
Okay.
So, I don't know. That could change. That could change over the years. It could be considered but I'm just saying it's a good one. Again, I don't consider it a true Joker performance, but Joker adjacent, it's really interesting and it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all. So anyway, what are we doing here? We were talking about Birds of Prey. Oh, the other thing about Jared Leto's Joker, though, is that he was doing like method acting stuff, right? He was staying in character all the time.
Sure.
But like the stuff that he did was like mailing used condoms to his cast members.
Huh.
Yeah, it was like, and all the stuff that he's doing is just the kind of stuff that jives with the type of Joker he was in the movie. So I feel like it's him. I don't know that anybody told him to do this stuff.
Right. Okay. But surely he was given some direction on how they wanted the Joker played.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some.
Like, it had
And
to
I don't
be
know.
some direction
Yeah.
given to, like, how, like, being told you're playing a character and then being like, okay, go off and do method practices. Like, well, how do you want me to practice? He had to be given a push in some direction at some point.
Yep, I'm sure he was. And that's always, it's always a question. How much of Heath Ledger's Joker is Christopher Nolan and how much of it is Heath Ledger? I don't know. There's definitely some percentage there from both people. Absolutely. I agree.
I think at the end of the day, the Joker is just a boring character because it's just a scary clown, and I've seen that elsewhere.
It's basically it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I have nothing more to say about the Joker.
That's fine. We'll move on from there. So yeah, Birds of Prey not doing great. They have a new name for it. Don't be fooled. So I want to talk a little bit about the Wuhan virus.
Sure.
Like, not in the sense that I think it's a huge, massive problem at this point.
Okay.
They're reporting numbers that maybe like 900, 1,000 people have died from it at this point, which, you know, it's not nothing, but it's not global catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking about it, and everybody knows that China is basically going to downplay the effects of the virus and how dangerous it is to the global media, right?
Right.
And part of me was like, well, that's stupid. Why would you do that for a health concern? It doesn't help anybody. But then I was like, I'm pretty sure America would do the same thing. Like, I'm pretty sure that we would say, and the reason we would do it is because we don't want anybody to think we don't have it under control. And I think China has the same motivation. They don't want to be seen as incompetent. They don't want to be seen as needing help from the outside world. They want to be seen as a country that has a problem, but it's managed and it's under control and it's going to be taken care of. No, you don't need to help us. Go away. It's just a pride thing, right?
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah. That's all.
Right. I was thinking about this at work the other day, which is, did you ever hear of a thing called the Spanish influenza?
I'm aware of the Spanish influenza.
Do you know why it's called the Spanish influenza?
Yes. Did we not talk about this? I thought we talked about this.
No, I think I briefly mentioned it 2 weeks ago, but...
Yeah, but it's basically because Spain was the only country that didn't keep reporting about the virus, didn't restrict it.
Yeah, it was the only country that kept reporting about it.
Yeah. Everybody else was like, shut up about this, newspapers and radio. Don't talk about it. We're going to create a panic. And Spain was like, whatever.
It
Freedom of the press, man.
It wasn't strictly like, don't talk about it because you'll create a panic. It was, don't talk about it because we want to look like we have this under control.
Ah, there we go. There we go. Yeah.
Which, does that sound familiar?
It sure sounds familiar.
Man, I'm having some deja vu.
Yeah. So I just think that's amazing. I didn't learn about that until, I don't know if we talked, I guess we talked about it a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah. I always assumed it's because like it was traced back to Spain. No, it was not traced back to Spain.
Nope.
Just because they were the only open and free information society at the time, that sucks. Congratulations on having freedom of the press. You're blamed for the Spanish flu now. Again, I called it the Spanish flu. You're blamed for the 1919 influenza that killed like a third of the people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the death toll of that?
I think, off the top of my head, I want to say a third is about right.
50 million people.
Maybe that's not a third.
No.
It's a tenth?
How many people were in the world in 1918?
I don't know.
Okay, so it infected 500 million people, killed 50 million of them, and it says that 500 million was 27% of the world population of 1 billion at the time.
Yeah.
So a quarter of everybody on Earth caught this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then 10% of those people died.
Yeah.
Whew. Bad stuff.
Wait, hold on. They said the population of the planet was 1 billion?
Yeah.
And that 500 million or half a billion people caught it.
1.8 billion. So almost two.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 1.
Yeah.
My bad.
Nope, sorry. 1.8.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Yep. I'm pretty sure Wikipedia has their maths fairly accurate.
Probably. Let me just edit it to make sure it is.
Smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like with most illnesses like this, it really affects the old and infirm and the very young the most.
No, healthy people have been dying.
Yeah, but I mean, just for the Spanish flu in particular.
Oh, okay. They meant the coronavirus. Do you know why it's called the coronavirus?
Yeah, because under a microscope, it looks like... What did it look like? It looks like a crown. That's what it is. Corona is Spanish for crown.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of jokes going on in the workplace with my other baker who's, on his weekends, he's been hitting the coronas very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Like, I get what you guys are trying to do, scientists, but you also have to understand that the corona in the world at large means beer. So just be aware. Just be aware of what's going to happen when you name your virus the coronavirus.
Mm. Yeah.
Maybe they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So according to CNN, as of this, I mean, they're pretty much on top of the story, updating it every hour. It seems like on February 10th, says 43,000 people have been infected as of today, and then 1,000 have died.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well.
That's a pretty high death to infection toll, right? What?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, compared to I think I saw an article about the regular flu, like the yearly flu that goes around. The death rate for those who catch it is like 0.02%, which still sucks. But what is 1,000 divided by 43,000? The internet says, well, that's a 0.02. All right.
But it's 0.02 of 42,000 people, right?
Yeah.
That can spread to everyone. Like the regular old flu can't spread to literally everyone at the moment. Because you get it and then your immune system beefs up a bit for a while.
Right.
That's why it spreads, but not everyone gets it. Right? It's just a thing. Because it's like the common cold. Everyone gets it. It mutates, pass it on. You can't get it back from the same person you gave it to.
Not that particular strain. Yeah.
No.
Actually, my maths were wrong. It's actually 2%.
2%. Okay.
So 1,000 to 43,000 is a 2% fatality rate, whereas the regular flu is 0.02%. So it's a significant difference.
Oh, yeah. Significant difference.
Extrapolated for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's kind of scary if China's lying about how bad it is and they don't have it under control and it really escapes. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
could
here's
be
the thing.
bad.
It's already escaped, right?
True. I mean, there was that Japanese cruise ship, right?
Yeah, and there's 10 confirmed cases in Australia, and Italy's got problems or something, It's out there.
I did hear about somebody in the U.S. that was diagnosed with it too. Maybe one or two.
Yeah. So,
I mean, there have been reports that it's airborne now, where previously they thought it had to be skin to skin or directly coughing on somebody contact.
right,
But that
right.
it can survive in the air on its own for a certain amount of time now, which... remember last week where we were like, we're not worried about this at all? Maybe we're more worried about it now.
I'm fine. I got a HEPA filter. It'll be cool. Just the one.
All right.
I'll put it over my face.
Plan success. Well done, Omicron. We're not going to lose you.
Yeah, yeah.
Additionally, I just never go anywhere. I go to work and I come home.
Same.
So
Yeah.
it helps. Oh, my kids go to school.
Speaking of going
Germ
somewhere
factories.
else. So it was pouring down with rain, right? Really bad. And my brother's like, hey, we need to go shopping for a birthday present for Mum. I'm like,
In the
"All right."
dumping rain.
In the
Okay.
dumping rain. I'm like, so what did you have in mind? He was like, she wanted deck chairs for the back deck. And I'm like, okay. And we're like, we go to this place called Bunnings. It's like a hardware store basically. But they also
Do you have a car?
He does.
Okay. I was like, buying deck chairs with a motorcycle sounds hard.
Yeah, especially in the rain.
Yeah.
But in rain that bad, I've been taking Ubers to and from work, which
Wow. Okay.
yeah, it's $20 each way, which is better than a taxi.
Yes.
But it's very interesting to turn up for work at 3:00 in the morning, getting out of a Mercedes. People look at you.
I bet they do. Like Omicron, living large.
Yeah, so we pull up at Bunnings and we're looking through and we find a couple and we're like, this one. All right, let's get to it. And we're looking at them and they're not flat packed, so we have to just carry chairs out through the shop, out into the parking lot, to get to the boot of the car to find out the chairs don't fit. So it's pouring down, and we're like, all right, let's put it on the back seat of the car. So we open up the back door, and we're trying to put it in, and then of course we're idiots. We open up the side of the car door in which the way the water is coming down, so water is going down straight into the car, and the chairs still don't fit. So instead of
All
trying
right,
to
the
put them
adventure's
in,
not over.
the adventure's not over. Instead of trying to put them in at the same time, we because they stack in each other. We took the first one off and put it in, and it's not working. All right, let's move the front seat forward.
Yes,
And then
good plan.
And then it finally goes in, and then we get the second one in, and then we're sitting there dripping wet in his car, and he's like, "Want to go get food?" and I was like, "Yeah, don't. Let's go eat." And like when you go to take those out of the car, do it when it's not raining. 'Cause-
Smart.
Yeah.
Just live in the car for the next couple days. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
That was great. I'd also not really prepared for the trip to the hardware store. I'd worn, same as my brother, like cloth covered shoes, not like leather shoes. And
Yep.
so so we'd step in a puddle and our entire feet were just soaked.
That sounds miserable.
That was miserable. That was
That
great.
is one of the low-level curses I think we talked about. Was it you who were asking for little low-level
Yeah.
curses for your
Yeah.
campaign?
I'm a little annoyed because I haven't had to use them yet, but I have some written down here.
They're ready to go.
Yeah, where'd I put them?
I think the one I'm most proud of is it just always feels like you're wearing wet socks no matter what you're actually wearing.
If they
That's good.
rolled a 1 on a D8, they'd have permanent wet socks.
Nice. Like,
Yeah.
okay, good again. This is different. It's not literal wet socks. They just feel like
wet.
they're wearing wet socks.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right.
If they rolled a 2, they would every time they went to introduce themselves, they'd believe their name to be Hugh Janus.
Yeah. I remember that one. That's good.
I have these listed out of order, but number 4 was hair growth, like uncontrollable hair growth.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. 5 was
What about the
nail
opposite?
growth, where it refused to grow or falls out.
Yeah, your hair just all falls out.
I could adjust that.
That might be a little too extreme for like, right? For
Well,
a moderate curse.
I'd also considered that the hair would eventually like just get so long if they cut it that the part they cut off became like a very low level creature that would try to strangle them.
Holy crap, that's good. That's really good. That is far beyond wet socks, man. If your hair's trying to kill you, all right.
Yeah, I also had like fingernail growth, right? That would just become very uncomfortable, and not like length but thickness. Fingernails would grow thick.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Two
Yeah,
on
that
the-
would be annoying.
Yeah, that would be annoying. 2 on like the less worrisome side. I wanted like every morning when they wake up, their eye color would be different. Just something annoying that people would like notice. They must
I'm not sure I would notice, to be honest.
no, but other people
Anyway.
wouldn't question you about it. That's the point.
Okay.
They must end every sentence with "as I say."
Like the, what was his name on The Mandalorian? The It Is Spoken
I have
guy.
spoken.
I have spoken.
Yeah, that one might be Mandalorian themed. And the other one I had was, if they were left-handed, they're now right-handed, but it swaps every day. If if they're right-handed, they're now left-handed. So they'd have to like relearn how to use a sword or whatever every day.
But that's different, though, right?
I mean, it's a little different.
If you're suddenly right-handed,
Like you
it
can,
means you're right-handed.
Yeah,
you're
you-
comfortable doing stuff with your right hand. Why do you have to relearn everything?
you don't have to like relearn, but it takes you a minute to be like, crap, I've got my sword on my left side because I would draw it from my right hand. Right,
okay.
you have to relearn how to position yourself properly.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're driving a stick-shift car, you got to be like, oh, that's right. I'm more comfortable with my right hand.
Yes, a manual. Yes.
Yes.
Stick shift.
Manual. Good.
Yep.
So how's your campaign going? Are you people still ignoring all of the plot cues?
Not all of them, but some.
Oh, good.
Like I had those curses. I've not needed to use them, unfortunately. But they met the bad guy, like the big bad guy. He like backhanded one of the wizard and instantly killed him.
He backhanded him?
Yeah, I had him do like a melee attack just to be like, "Shut up, gnome," and like knocked him unconscious from full HP. So
I mean, it's a gnome.
right, it's no wizard, right? Like he doesn't have a lot of HP.
Right. Surprised he didn't have any spells prepared for, getting physically attacked.
Oh,
but
he
it's
he
cool.
did. He has one called Shield, which raises his AC by 5.
Oh, yeah.
Problem,
Okay.
they had just gotten out of a fight where he had used all his spell slots.
Oh, he didn't rest before this conversation.
No,
Rookie
well,
mistake.
He it wasn't his choice. At the end of the battle, the last wolf standing turned out to be this guy in disguise. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's sneaky.
Yeah, very
like
sneaky.
that.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I've been reading this thing about Baldur's Gate,
Okay.
and it's just about how, the most optimal way to play it is play all spellcasters except for like one melee guy. And you just have this routine for every fight you do where you prepare a million different protective spells and enhancement spells, and then you send out a bunch of illusions to attack the people that you want to kill, so they waste all their spells on the illusions. And then you recast all your defensive spells, and then you go in there and you take them down. And then once that fight is done, you rest. And then you do it all again for the next pack. It's just like, yeah, it's a little immersion breaking. Like, yeah, it's the best way to play because you're not really risking anything by doing this. But when you're spending 15 minutes preparing for every fight and they all go the exact same way,
Right.
and then you're resting between every fight, it's just kind of like, is that fun? I think it's fun for some people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would have fun playing that way.
No. I
Yeah.
imagine that would be tedious after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how common that would be like in a D&D situation with like a live dungeon master. Because in a video game, sure, no one's going to get annoyed with you for doing that. But I do wonder if your DM would just be like, come on, seriously?
Well,
You're doing this again?
combat wouldn't really work the same because in the video game you can sit there and take the time to cast all your stuff because you can see the enemy, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so you know you're in a fight. In D&D, it's like either you get a surprise round or it's all right. Everyone roll initiative, right? So if they get a surprise round, each player gets the opportunity to do one action. So you couldn't do all that stuff if you wanted to, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it just naturally doesn't lend itself to that style of play at all.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you can still do like defensive spells and stuff in that time or on your first turn if you don't get it, and obviously it still has benefits and stuff, and
Yeah.
but you can't just sit there. You also have a limited amount of spell slots, right, for spellcasters.
Yep.
You don't have like a regenning mana pool every second.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
So it's much trickier.
much trickier. But that's not to say you can't cheese fights.
Yeah, for sure. Just takes a little creativity, Zol.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's also entirely possibilities for you to avoid encounters or peaceful resolutions in a video game. You kind of just end combat, and it's like, well, it's combat, get going.
Wait, what?
Like, if in D&D you're fighting bandits, you can use your turn to like persuade the bandits to stop fighting you.
Right. Okay.
Can you do that in Baldur's Gate? I've not played the game.
Not that I've been able to do, but that's because I don't really worry about charisma.
Okay.
But it seems like you could just amp your charisma up. Because usually you do have a conversation first with the bandits. And there is an option to talk with them first.
Right.
Yeah. So I think you can. I've just never seen anybody do it.
Right. Well, it can also go part one way, part the other, right? Like, you can start off by attacking them, and then after you, like, kill 3 of them, they might all surrender and try to talk their way out of it. You might be the bad guys in that
Right.
scenario.
Which I think more games should do.
Just that level
Not
of
naming any names, Skyrim and The Witcher 3.
that level of depth is hard in video games.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it would hurt anything, though. Like, the last guy in a group of 5 is like, holy crap. Like, my bandmates here got smashed. There's no way I'm winning this. I'm going to run away. I don't think it would break anything.
Right, but lots of games have mechanics where enemies try to flee, but not very many where you don't end up also just killing them anyway, right? It's like grunts in Halo will flee after you kill the elite,
But then they come back.
no, well, they just kind of stick around because it's a
Yeah.
Halo level. They have nowhere to go. You just shoot them anyway and continue.
It'd be awesome if they were like hiding behind trees and stuff.
Yeah, they'll hide, but the map's not that big, right? There are very few levels where they can run to a place that you can't get to.
But you could do it on The Witcher. Like, just have them run away and then just disappear their model once they're out of sight, right? Even if you try to chase them, you're like, oh, rap. They ran into the forest. I'm not going to find them, whatever.
Yeah,
Could do.
You could do, but that still feels like you're cheating the player out of the option to chase them down.
You just weren't fast enough. If they get out of sight, they're gone. That's all I want.
Faster than Geralt? Like these random dudes? Faster than a dude on a horse? I don't know.
No, it's not that you don't have... It's not that you... Right? It's not that,
Like
he can't chase them. It's not that he's faster than them. It's just that he's dealing with everybody else.
Right, but if it's like the last couple of guys that are like, we can't kill this dude, well, let's flee, right?
Yeah.
Surely the Witcher has ranged attacks. Like surely, right? He has like magic.
Yeah, it's pretty limited. He's got a crossbow, but
Right.
it mostly tickles enemies.
Right,
I
right.
haven't killed anything with a crossbow.
Fair enough. That's one way that's one way to solve that problem. But
Uh-huh.
you know.
Is you'll like stagger them for a second, but anywho, what was the original running away? Oh, D&D, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean it's all part of the D&D experience. Min-maxing can kind of get game breaky and turn boring, and
It can be. It just
can be.
they're like it's often described as just being like different tables for different players, right? Like if you come to a wargaming table that's all about the combat, everyone's gonna sit there and min-max, and that's like the thing they find fun. And there are lots of people who do that in video games because it's fun. And there are other players who are just like, I'm gonna get immersed in my character and I'm gonna take the spells like True Strike, even if it's mostly useless 95% of the time. I'm gonna have fun with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate that perspective. Anyway.
Yep.
Well, good. I'm glad your campaign is working. I'm glad your people aren't ignoring all of the story hooks. That's beautiful. It's good news.
I tried
I
to
was
give
worried after your first session.
Yeah, I tried to give them like an option to get some like, because in the town they're in, there's only one merchant and he jacks all the prices up by 10%, not 10% times 10.
What?
Because he has no
Okay.
competition. And so I
Yeah.
tried to give them all the option to be like, hey, if there's anything you want, these gypsies are gonna like head out to like another town and maybe they'll pick something up for you. Like maybe they'll just steal it off someone or whatever, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
you give them as much gold as you're willing to quote unquote pay for an item, and then maybe they'll bring you that item. And then I was just gonna roll to see if the gypsies stole the character's money. I'm like, yeah, we couldn't get it,
Yeah.
or whether
yeah.
or not they got the item. So the opportunity to get like health potions, which could cost 250 gold at this other dude. Not that he's selling them, but at times 10 price it would be for a gold if that's what they were willing to put down, or 8 gold. But no one took it. No one's like, yeah, no, I'm fine.
Did they all just murder the guy who was jacking the prices up?
No. But they tried to steal from it, and he just watched them like fail. Because I think a lot of my players at the moment, if they cast spells, some of them aren't reading them. Like he cast Mage Hand, which is like a little blue hand that goes around and it's like telekinesis. But it's a very visible hand, and it's sitting there trying to work his cash register. And he
While he's sitting there?
while he's sitting there, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Yes, you have to read in Dungeons and Dragons, it turns out.
Yeah. I mean, I understand them like wanting to try it with Mage Hand, like it could work, but the guy wasn't distracted, right? And there's also for this particular setting, various cosmetic changes. So the Mage Hand, which is supposed to be like a spectral blue ghost hand, at the moment looks like a skeleton hand. Right, it's a small cosmetic change to the way the spell works, which they wouldn't know, so it was a nice surprise when they cast it.
Yeah.
But then there's this skeletal hand climbing over this guy, and he's just staring there looking at it and like looking at the back of the players.
Nice.
Another
He
one,
was completely nonplussed. He's
Yeah.
just like, whatever.
whatever, go ahead and try. Like if the hand had done better on its like sleight of hand check, I was gonna the shopkeep has a bodyguard called like Periwimple or something, who's like supposed to like come in if the players give him grief about the terrible prices. But I figured it wasn't needed. But
Because they were so bad.
yeah, so bad.
Good times. They're not very good murder hobos.
No, not well.
Good murder hobos would have actually won by now.
I mean, they're all winners in their heart.
I guess that's what matters.
Yep. Two of them ran off into the forest by themselves at like midnight for no reason.
Okay.
Yeah, they were like,
Trying to die?
well, I don't know. I don't know really what they were trying to do. I think they just thought it was the right thing to do because they were like sleeping at this church at midnight. All like ghosts start pouring out of the grave and form a parade towards like this castle off in the distance.
Okay.
Right, it doesn't harm the players. I made it like they would like stick their hand through the ghost and like they paid you no attention. So like, all right, let's follow the ghost. And so they start walking out of town at like midnight, and I'm like, okay, it's just you two, the two elves who only need 4 hours of sleep while everyone else needs 8. So they're like, yeah, we just walk off. And I'm like, okay, roll a d4. I'm like, 1. Okay, you walk north, no longer following the parade, and into the woods.
They rolled a 1?
Yeah. On a 4, right? A d4, so it's 4 sides, right?
Oh,
it's just
alright.
determining compass directions.
It's bad luck, but...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's just what direction you went.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Because they were
So
like,
you
we
go
walk
into
off.
the woods.
Yeah. And then I like rolled a random encounter and I'm like, oh, okay, these things are weak. That's great. It'll scare them. I had like trees come alive and kill them. Or try to kill them.
Nice.
They were able to get
Anybody
away.
die?
No, nobody even took hurt damage.
Man, you're so bad at killing your players. So bad.
I've only done it twice. No, 3 times.
In this campaign?
Yes. I didn't.
Oh, I missed that story. How'd you kill him?
So, well, they didn't die. One of them should have died, but I just kind of ignored that. So, he was fighting like a vampire spawn, right? A fledgling vampire. And its bite attack does necrotic damage and it can heal itself. It's like drinking your blood or whatever. There's a little addendum to that attack that says if it reduces a player's hit points to 0 using that damage, they instantly die. I just kind of ignored that and let him go unconscious because it was literally the second session and the first fight they were in.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. And then last week, I knocked 2 of them unconscious. One with the backhand from the main guy. And the other one, I don't know if she wants to play a bard or a druid, because she's kind of like trying to do both. She's a bard, but she took like proficiency in animal handling, and her spells are like talk to animals. And so she tried to talk to a pack of wolves that are under the bad guy's control.
Feel like that didn't go very well.
It didn't, because she didn't like make her roll, and then she was separated from the group, and then they all dived on her and knocked her unconscious in a round. yeah, she was having a rough day.
I hate it when wolves knock me unconscious. It's the worst.
It's terrible.
That's so good. Well, you're a nice dungeon master. Is there a point where you're actually going to start having them suffer consequences for their stupid decisions?
Yeah. They'll like eventually I'm gonna be like, well, you died. The guy that I let not instantly die, his character, like I still made him roll death saving throws, right? So he still could have died. He was unconscious. He rolled a nat 1 on his first death saving throw, which is 2 failures when you only need 3 to be permanently dead.
Bad start.
And then one of the other characters has a spell that's called Spare the Dying. It just stabilizes them at 0 and they don't have to make rolls. And I was like, just for, just to see what was going to be what, make another roll and we'll see if you would have died. Like, what's your next roll going to be? He would have died. His next roll would have been a 7, which would have killed him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Bad times.
Bad times.
Bad times rolling for saves there.
Yep.
Well, all right. Maybe one day somebody will actually die. It'll be a good story.
Oh, man. Don't tell anyone, especially if my players listen. But there might be
Okay.
Blood Arc where they have to fight each other.
Oh no, that's the worst. Making the party fight each other.
Yeah, hey, man. Never trust the Warlock.
For sure, never trust a warlock. That is just a good life lesson to learn. 100%.
Yeah.
Never trust a warlock. Never. Well, good. Glad to hear it's going well.
It's fun.
Glad to hear you're a merciful dungeon master for now.
For the moment.
So Katowice is still doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. That didn't get
Don't quite have
postponed.
the group stages yet. We have some group stages.
Which we have
Did
some.
you ask if it was postponed?
Yeah.
Not that I've seen.
Because GSO got postponed.
Yeah. But Katowice, insofar as it's in Poland, which is pretty far away from the epicenter of this thing, imagine it'll be okay, but who knows? It could
Who knows?
definitely be postponed.
I mean, Italy's got it. Raina's got it. Raina's going to Poland. Just going to throw that out there.
Wow, that's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know if Raina has it, but he could.
He could. Rainer, be safe.
Be safe. Yeah.
So far, people who have qualified Dark Parting stats: Rainer, Rogue, Zest, Elaser, Maru, Solar, Cure, Serral, and TY.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of Zerg.
It's a lot of Zerg. Got 3 Terrans, though. Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the 3 you would expect: Maru, Cure, and Ty.
It's actually
TY.
Yeah. Ty.
I guess Innovation.
Innovation's not there yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, not saying. I
Oh,
expect
you
him
would
to
expect
already
him. Right.
have. Yeah.
There's actually
Expect he'll make it.
3 Terrans, 3 Protoss, 6 Zerg at the moment.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Ugh.
Trying to see. Anyway, so I'll expect Innovation to show up, and then Rainer, and we'll fill it out.
Well, Raina's already there, so.
But he hasn't officially qualified yet.
Yeah, he has. Group B.
Oh, you're right. Man, I was just reading through those names. Let's pay attention, Falcon. We got this. We got it next time. So I guess one final Oscars thing.
Okay.
So the movie Parasite won Oscar for Best Picture, and the director won for Best Director.
Cool.
And a couple other ones.
Sure.
So the director has a bunch of movies. He is a Korean guy. And he's got a bunch of movies under his belt. Snowpiercer is his. Have you seen Snowpiercer?
I have seen Snowpiercer. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's his movie. It's kind of his thing. Kind of weird, kind of sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Some, like, a little bit of horror involved, but not necessarily a horror movie, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Parasite is basically, I think it takes place in Korea, and it's largely, from what I can gather, kind of about the social divide between the haves and the have-nots in the country.
Okay.
So it's kind of some social commentary about it, but at the same time, like, I've heard people say it's really, really well made.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm thinking about watching it, but at the same time, there's nothing specifically about the plot that interests me, and I'm not sure if there's going to be enough. So I don't know. Maybe maybe I'll talk about it with you off pod, and we'll decide if we want to watch it and talk about it on the podcast or not.
Okay.
But it was a bit of a surprise. Most people expected 1917 to win the Oscar, which is that movie about World War I. Partially because it is really well made. It's by Sam Mendes, who's a really well-respected director. And then plus there's this gimmick. I don't know if you've read about this, but it's basically shot to look like it's a single shot.
Mm-hmm. I've heard this.
So
yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a single shot, which would be insane.
No.
But it's made to look like you're just following a single shot throughout the entire film, which is fun. I've seen it argued that it's just a gimmick, and I've seen it argue that it's not just a gimmick. It actually adds to the film, and I can kind of see both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with it is it feels like the main message is, hey, war is hell, and especially World War I was hell. I was like, yes, I'm aware. It was uniquely terrible among conflicts in the world for a lot of reasons. I don't know that I need that emotional heft, right? Like, I don't need to be reminded that war is hell again, so I'm not sure I'm going to see it. But at the same time, I don't know, the single shot gimmick or not gimmick sounds interesting. So, I'm really undecided on these really considered best films of 2019.
Here's why you're going to watch it. Because the alternative from this point on is you're either going to watch those 2 films or you're going to watch an anime. And that anime is Don't You Love Your Mother and a 2-hit multi-target attacks. Okay? That's your options. Go for it. I'm going to decide for you. You're undecided. I'm just going to give you the ultimatum.
I'm going to go with I'm undecided.
Well, no. You should just watch the probably good movies rather than the arguably terrible anime.
That does seem like a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, these movies are getting well reviewed, right? They're getting awards. There's no,
Yep.
like, the worst thing you're going to get is, oh, okay, I can see what they're going for here, but it's not for me. Or you could spend your time watching something that's arguably boring,
Right.
right? And bad.
These are not good options. I don't like these options very much.
The options are great. Stop being indecisive about movies.
All right. All right. I won't be indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
Decisions will be made, just not right now.
Yeah, but that's a show I've been watching. Boy,
Not great.
not fantastic. I've also been watching. Is it wrong to pick up women in a dungeon? Or is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
Oh, I know what that is from the title.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing as the other one.
Bad. There's so much bad out there. Why is there so much bad?
That one's actually not awful.
Okay.
Right, like it feels
Isn't
like
that one's sort of in your wheelhouse, though.
Yeah, I mean, it actually, like, the first one is closer to my wheelhouse. This one is just fantasy ventures and stuff, like Goblin Slayer. It's closer to Goblin Slayer than, like, Sword Art Online. The other,
All right.
the first
I like
one,
Goblin Slayer.
yeah, well, closer to. It's not nearly as good.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not recommending either of these, but if you're going to be indecisive about your movies, I'm going to make you watch something bad.
Gotcha. Well, that seems like a fair punishment.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see if I can figure out how to watch Parasite. I'm not sure where it is, but I assume it's being streamed somewhere, especially because it just won the Oscar.
Yeah, I assume it's somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Well, I mean,
What?
it's not going to be streaming in our countries at the same time in the same place.
I can buy it on Google,
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Oh, on Google.
YouTube, which is Google, right? Like, it's available
yeah.
for streaming right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. How about me? Amazon Prime has it for rent. That'll work.
Mm-hmm.
The Amazons.
Yep. It's also still
All
showing
right.
in theaters here as well.
Yeah, it actually. Sometimes they do that with Oscar-winning movies. They'll bring it back to the theaters, even if they were gone here.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I'm not sure if it is. Anyway, whatever. I'll just stream it. I don't want to go anywhere.
No, you might catch a virus.
Yeah. Could do. Don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So we're done? Or do you have sports to talk about?
I guess just real quick sports minute. Not even a minute.
Okay.
So quick thoughts on the XFL, which is another attempt at making a professional football league in the U.S. that's not the NFL. It seems to be fairly well received at this point. There are some rule changes they went to. After you score a touchdown, you can either kick the field goal or go for a 1, 2, or 3-point play, which I thought was interesting. I like that idea. But the rest of it, it's still subpar athletes. They're not up there with the NFL players. And I think that's always been the fatal flaw with these little not NFL professional football leagues. But I don't know. Again, it was well received for week 1. We'll see if week 2 has anything going for it. And if it does, it could stick around. Could be interesting.
Cool.
That's it. Not even a whole minute.
Yeah. No.
Tiny little thing.
Didn't even start the timer.
Nope. Because we didn't need it.
Sure didn't.
Sure didn't. All right. Well, that's going to be it from us. This has been Falcon Paladin and Somicron with yet another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. Feel free to check us out on the Patreon page and buy some merch if you want to as well. And until next time, as always, thanks for hanging out. And you take care of yourself.